Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to Computer and UX meetup. I'm Ryan, one of the partners at Neuron. For any new members, Neuron is a UX design strategy agency. And so we're going to be talking about a web platform that Neuron helped bring to life called Projects for Good. Okay, so Projects for Good is a web platform that helps people create, fund, and implement projects with a good cause. The Projects for Good motto is that with proper guidance, tools, and resources, anyone can make an impact on local or global issues. The reason that we chose today for this event is because today Projects for Good turns 2. So please join me in a toast to Projects for Good and to meet our mission. There will be champagne to celebrate after the first meeting. So what is Projects for Good? The platform combines tools that currently exist as disparate products with elements of crowdfunding such as Kickstarter, job seeking, and collaboration such as Upwork, and social networking such as LinkedIn. So there are a number of crowdfunding sites that allow you to raise money for social causes, but they're all based on the two-actor model, the project owner and the donor. So while this model provides project owners with access to a global community for fundraising efforts, it provides little to no support when it comes to the implementation and execution of the project. So as you would expect, this limits the scope and the scale of projects to the reach of the project owner and their personal network. So Projects for Good introduces a third actor model, and this is the service provider. Service providers are local certified partners, for-profit or non-profit organizations, or individuals with the resources in place to execute the project, whether it be materials, technology, expertise, or labor. Service providers are hired through a bidding process on the platform, where the project owner selects someone based on their bids, as well as ratings and reviews. So this is really a game changer, as it allows anyone with an idea to make their social impact project a reality, regardless of their location, skill set, or resources. The difference between Projects for Good and other crowdfunding sites like GoFundMe is that the project owner doesn't disappear once they raise the money that they need. So when you think about it, crowdfunding is really just part one of a two-part process, with the second part being project implementation. So whether or not the project owner chooses to hire a service provider to the platform, they are expected to post photos, project updates during the implementation phase, which does something very important to the people who donated. It shows them the impact of their contribution. It also holds the project owner accountable for the money that they raised to use it in the way that they said they would. So the Neuron team was brought in on day 0 to help define the product strategy, and was also responsible for the full design and development. In terms of the design, designing a new type of platform like this in a way that was universally understandable to the 3 distinct user types, that being the project owner, the service provider, and the donor, posed a number of design challenges, because each of these 3 user types would use the platform for a completely different purpose. So what this meant is we had to distill everything that the platform does, the added transparency, added efficiency, the added precision, and distill it down to its core offering, which was maximizing impact. So we carry this through all facets of the design process, from messaging to its functionality. With the platform's emphasis on community and open communication, we designed what's called a community center, and we intended this to be the sort of home base for returning users. So central to the community center is a personalized newsfeed that let users stay up to date on what's happening in the Projects for Good community. They're also shown new projects that they might be interested in based on their behavior and their indicated interests. New job listings in that service category, new users who share common interests. And so it really was a sort of personalized experience. The next section of the platform I want to talk about is the dashboard. So with the numerous ways that users can get involved in the project, we felt that there needed to be a single place where they could go to get the status of the projects that they're running, job bids they've submitted, jobs that they've been accepted for, and so on. You'll also see an achievement section. So there's sort of a degree of gamification to the model where users are incentivized to take certain actions on the platform in order to receive these achievement badges, which can be shared with the community, and sort of it gives them a sort of sense of recognition. And also project management. So for anyone who starts a project, they have this sort of set of tools to give them a high-level view of the status of the project, who's donated, a sort of graphical view of donations over the life of the project, and also a sort of idea of how far through funding process they are, and what's left to be raised. So in terms of the look and feel, there's a number of sort of fun elements that we had a chance to design with this, one of which is the default avatars. So rather than have, when someone signs up for the first time, we created a number of default avatars that are assigned randomly and just kind of give a sort of fun look to the platform. We also designed a number of vector illustrations that show scenes of teamwork, community involvement, general do-goodery, and give it kind of a custom look and feel, and really help to make the website feel a lot more branded across all touch points. And as I mentioned, the achievement badges, so these are a few. So users would get awarded for starting a project, being the first to donate to a project, and even certain actions related to community involvement, so starting a discussion, or completing a job, things like this. So that was sort of a snapshot of the platform design and the process that we went through. I'd like to hand it over to my Moonlight to do part two.
Hi everyone, so I'm Amira from Projects for Good, and thank you so much for having us here. We'd love you to come and check out the site and hopefully start a project. We do have t-shirts for the first 5 people that start a project and submit it. A lot of our projects are sort of robust as far as requiring a big organization. Some of our other projects are set up by individuals, and so we have a few examples for you. We think cleanup projects are amazing. Anyone can do it. They can be replicated across the United States. And I think all of us experienced a park or a beach or somewhere that, we'd like to see cleaner and the trash picked up. So we're calling this difficulty level intermediate. You can go, you can raise funds, try and get your friends to help. And we have a suggestion of what you would use the funds for, because something about Projects for Good that we think is really important, as Ryan said, is that you tell people what you're using the funds for. So we have some examples over here that you can use, or you can come up with your own, obviously. And then obviously something that's easy is if you have a favorite nonprofit or a cause you really care about, you're gonna set up a template. It's really simple. You can send it out to your friends. There's a share button. They can share with other friends. So again, this is just really about rallying people around a cause and trying to get them to be aware of a cause you care about. We have some examples. You don't have to write a lot if you don't want to. And so Coalition to Help the Homeless is a local organization here in San Francisco. They're doing a lot of great work just to bring more awareness to these issues and to make sure people have their rights taken care of. It's a big problem around the city. Rocket Dog Rescue is an amazing organization based out of Oakland. They make sure they help animals that maybe are rejected from shelters because they have temperament issues, or they're older or disabled, and so they really try and get them rehabilitated and placed in homes. And then finally, Oasis for Girls is also a local organization. I think they're on a mission. And basically, they're just trying to make sure that underrepresented groups of girls who maybe go to schools that don't have resources, or maybe the mentorship that other areas have a place to go and learn and really sort of build these amazing life skills and the confidence they need to be like the best selves they can be. So we really hope you guys will come check it out. There's some other crazy projects we can show you that are really interesting that maybe normal people have set up, but these are just some really cool examples that you can see. And again, with stickers too, so we'd love you guys to come over and at least try and set up a project or tell us what you think about the site. We'd love feedback from the community and from anyone. So thank you.
So we can do a Q&A now, or if you'd like to just sort of discuss after the presentation, just one-on-one, that's fine as well. We do also want to show just sort of an example of a project. So this is one cleanup project that was fundraised successfully on the platform. It's for cleanup at Joshua Tree. And so this individual, Andrew Malace, was basically just fundraising. He was going to do the cleanup himself with some of his friends and family. And so he was just interested in raising enough money to pay for gas to get the group to Joshua Tree, and also some equipment to remove some garbage that's just dumped there. So this is a really simple project and just a great example of, you don't have to cover all the funds yourself, obviously. And there's a lot of people out there who obviously want to see their neighborhood be cleaned up as well. So you can see there's a project story that Andrew wrote, also a news feed that shows you a sort of timeline of the events that happened. So when he reached certain milestones and when he posted photos of his progress, and then the funding progress, and he was donated, and jobs. I don't believe this project had any jobs, but
he had volunteers.
Oh, that's
but
right.
he already had one, so he didn't have to stick up.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
But he did have jobs here.
Yeah. So as my mentor said, it's quite easy to start a project, and if anyone's interested, we can show you how to do it after the presentation. And so, if you have one you're passionate about, or if you are looking for inspiration, we can do both. So yeah, thanks everyone, and please help yourself to some champagne and help us celebrate Projects for Good. Are there any questions? Or?
How long did the project take?
It's been an ongoing project. So, initially there was sort of an initial round of features like an MVP, and that took about a couple months to design, and then about 6 to 8 months, maybe 8 months for the first phase to develop. And since then, it's pretty much been something that we've been working on as part of our team full time over the last 18 months, just adding new features like the news feed and different types of jobs. So yeah, it's been it's quite a robust platform. Yeah. Any other questions?
Is Projects for Good a nonprofit or a for-profit company?
So it is for profit, but they're in the process of getting a nonprofit certification. It just takes about part of the year.
And some of the organizations on Projects for Good are for profit. We take the 5% fee.
Yeah, basically just
Right.
for operations. Yeah.
What's next in terms of features for the platform?
Sorry.
What's next in terms of features?
In terms of features, we're going to be adding another job type that's specifically geared towards the demand for cleanup projects, which is a sort of almost like a meetup model in terms of like you can just sort of RSVP and say it's like a fixed offer job, where you can say, okay, if there's a project that's offering $30 for someone to come for the afternoon and clean up, all you really have to do is RSVP, and they say, okay, great, I'm committing $30 to this person when I accept also. And so you just kind of show up, and then you do an attendance, and And everyone can get students or
I see the share function. Does it have capabilities to share like social media? Like what comes to mind is like people who do birthday fundraisers on Facebook.
Yeah.
So you could like share in that capacity.
Yeah, so it's obviously not like as integrated in Facebook as the Facebook fundraisers, but you can share to Facebook, Twitter, email, and LinkedIn.
A couple of questions. Is there any thoughts about engaging in disaster response? And also software.
In what sense?
People could be contracted for developing certain aspects of any software project.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's the sort of the target that we're going towards for the jobs features on this are largely sort of in-person jobs that might be fulfilled to help complete a project. But it's certainly not limited to that. It could be pretty much any type of job that you might otherwise go to Fiverr or Upwork or something like that. So like software development's absolutely something.
Or even
I'm
we're
surprised
thinking,
it's not there. It's been over a year old.
Yeah.
This is a software community.
Yeah.
I would think you would have something to start seeding, okay, showing the possibility, just like the Joshua cleanup. Software.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Something we should consider for the roadmap. Is there a question? Yeah.
My question is, how do you build trust on the website, and how do you make the cash flow work transparent?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So the model, fundamentally, the fact that all of the project happens on the platform and it isn't fundraised and then moved offline is really the difference maker when it comes to transparency. Being able to see where that money goes and then cross-referencing that with where they said that they would spend it, I think is really the biggest difference. And in terms of building trust, it's something where I think a lot of it comes from word of mouth and just proving it time and time again with successful projects. It's something where trust could be eroded in just one instance, but it takes a long time to build, and I think that's something that projects gets always taken really seriously.
Well, that same note, what happens if, let's say, someone raises $5,000, but only ends up using through transparency $4,500? What happens to that $500?
Yeah, so in this case, it's kind of an honor system where it's like, well, there should be something that you push this towards that's kind of, either you could share it on the project timeline so that everyone's aware, but essentially before you create a project, there's kind of a opportunity to check in with the community, discussion boards and things like that, and experts who are in the field in order to get like the best estimate as to like what this would cost to build, what the material cost is, things like that.
So does that mean there's like an upvoting process, like where this seems like a legitimate project, and these funds that they're trying to raise seem legitimate?
There's a type of upvoting within the discussion board where if someone, like there's a category just for project ideas, and so in that one, yes, you could upvote, comment, and sort of gauge the interest level. Yeah. Yeah.
Another suggestion would be a project that would be newsworthy for news reports, okay, like on TV, whatever. See the project like that, okay, so that it has some spotlight. Yeah, we need some projects.
Yep. Yeah. And there's initially when we launched the MVP, there was an effort within the company to just get a nice range of projects to see the platform, and these were just personal connections from the founding team who already had a pretty established profile in the philanthropy community. And so just through this community, he was able to find a number of great causes that demonstrated the range of applications the projects to a good project could do. Yep.
This is great. Thanks for sharing. This is a great project. I was kind of curious about in Australia recently. There's been some issues around similar site where politically sort of questionable groups have come forward and raised a lot of money, and it's been a real problem. And I just wondered if that's come up or it's something you've talked about or thought about putting something in place to kind of prevent that from happening. Or...
Yeah. So not every project qualifies for the platform. There's actually a pretty strict set of qualifications. And so we have a team internally that vets every project that's submitted to make sure that it does have, for one thing, like a sort of tangible outcome. That it's not just sort of an ongoing project where, if I'm trying to build a playground and the first step is to get $500 to put the gravel in, and if I reach that but I don't keep going, like that's not a playground. So there needs to be a defined goal that that the money can actually go towards, and they can achieve the goal of the project, like benefit the community or whatever it may be. So that, as well as a number of other requirements. So there are, it is the job of a team to basically say, this isn't in keeping with projects for good morals or doesn't really meet our standards.
Has that actually turned up at all? Like, has that sort of been something that you've had to kind of consider?
Yeah, and I think I was to add, like I think it's always been a worry of ours, right? Some of the bigger organizations we already know, we vetted. I think that's also one of the interesting things about focusing on local projects, which we're trying to move towards, or at least get some of those, is that sure you can share the project and someone's amped far away, you do it, she never knows what happens to her money, right? But the local project someone could walk by every day and see. And I don't want to say like, oh, we want to use the community to police people necessarily, but I think part of the reason we really want to build a community is we do want people to follow up and say, hey, where's my money? What happened? And the project owner should feel like, yes, I should update everyone. They gave me money. Like, here's pictures. Here's what's going on. Again, that doesn't solve every problem where someone could, be in the wrong. But we've rejected projects that, were just for personal gain. We don't really accept any, you can do what you want. So something we think that people would be able to show a result of, and also the community members or even both people would be like, hey, what happened to this? Like, where's my money? So it's it's an interesting conundrum.
Who's policing those projects?
So we have customer support.
Is that done by your own team or is that
Yes,
by?
yeah. So we have our
It's
own
like
team.
Intercom or something?
We do have a call center somewhere else, but they're not the ones who are actually.
They flag something and maybe talk to them.
Yeah.
And
And we really try. And obviously now we're small, so it's. Obviously now we're smaller, so we can, obviously as we grow, that's going to be interesting. I'm sure if you go to a Kickstarter, they all, everyone knows the problems GoFundMe had. But we do look at them individually. We work with people to make their projects better. We have someone who's just a great writer, so now she's been helping people try to rewrite their projects. So we do try and stay on top of that kind of thing, which we can for now.
So from a UI, UX type setup, how does somebody interact with that type of situation? If someone proposes a project, what are the steps that they go through in order to get that approved or does it happen?
Yeah. So it's
interesting.
Yeah, and it's basically a sort of sequence where they would go ahead and fill out their project details, submit it for approval, and at that time, it's usually just a day or two. It takes for us to kind of go through and make sure it meets our requirements, but yeah, it's an interesting challenge for sure.
And there's auto notifications. People know that the project has been accepted or suggestions. So. Then we do personally.
On the platform or is that then via email or?
So you guys are in year 2. I'm curious, like, what kind of core features or workflows Have you had to like change or alter since getting some feedback and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one of the things, as I mentioned, was this need for kind of larger group when it comes to the job functionality, was to not just hire a single specific person for each job listing, but to say, I need a team of people with, general skills, just kind of, labor essentially, to just help me with this cleanup project, for example. So that was one example where we just said, okay, like there's definitely demand for this. This is one of the type of projects that we want to focus on, especially initially, and to do that, it was something that we needed this new feature. So that's going to be released in 4 weeks or so. So look forward to that. Okay. Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you guys. And